Hey guys, Patrick here. Now, recently, I have seen the Lifetime original show, Fit to Fat to Fit. And there are just some things that bug me so much about it that I felt compelled to make a video. For those of you who have not seen the show, firstly, the whole series, or at least a decent amount of episodes, are free here on YouTube, and I would actually recommend checking it out. But to break down the premise of the show, what it is about is you get these personal trainers who talk about, oh, I've had multiple morbidly obese clients, I can't seem to break through them, and I think that empathy is the reason. So I am going to go on a 4-month-long journey, gain as much weight as I possibly can, and then they get partnered up with a morbidly obese person, and they try to lose the weight together. Now, on paper, I actually do like this idea because, you know, a lot of these personal trainers, they've been fit their entire lives, so they have never had to, lose 50 to 100 pounds before, coming off the couch. But, in actuality, the show fails on its premise. And I'm going to get into that in a second, but first, I have one major gripe with this series, and that is the name, Fit to Fat to Fit. It's fucking awful. It sounds like a typo. Fit to Fat to Fit. What it should have been called is Fit to Fat and Back. It rolls off the tongue better, and I honestly feel like it gives you a better idea, just hearing it, what the premise of the show is like that. Fit to Fat and Back. Oh, so you start at fit, you get fat, and then you go back to being fit. Fit to Fat to Fit, sounds like a really shitty tongue twister. And a lot of times, when I have discussed the show with other people, they think that they heard me wrong, or that I'm saying it wrong. They're like, Fit to Fat to Fit, are you sure? So I just wanted to get that out of the way real quick. Garbage name. But let's get on to the real issues of the show. Firstly, it's very cheaply made. Noticeably cheap. I get that it's trying to emulate certain TLC shows, and those don't have a super high budget either. They're just people being followed around with a camera and a boom mic. But at the same time, at least the people with the camera and the boom mic are there, the whole time to film what's going on. A lot of times in this show, they couldn't even bother to get, the actual camera people to show up to the fucking set. So a lot, and I mean a lot of footage is these people recording themselves. And the cheapness just kind of shines through. Because, half of an episode looks like a TLC show, and the other half looks like this YouTube video that I'm filming right now, and that's not a good thing. Another thing that I noticed that is, I find it kind of weird. The obese person that is teamed up with the personal trainer doesn't come in until more than halfway through the episode. The episode is 3/5 the personal trainer gaining the weight, and then the last 2/5 is them teaming up with the morbidly obese people and losing weight together. Substantially less time is put on that. And a lot of it is just Nikocavo Avocados videos, where it's just watching this thin or healthy or fit person just eat 10 cheeseburgers and then throw up violently and then go, but I gotta do this, and that's most of it. Most of these episodes are just mukbangs. Typically, when you're making a show about people losing weight, you want it to be inspirational in some sense. You want the person watching it to be like, oh yeah, I need to, if that person can do it, so can I need to go work out right now. Or at the very least, yeah, I'm rooting for you. But so little time is spent with the actual morbidly obese people that we do not get connected to them as well, and as a result, we do not give a shit about them or root for them nearly as much. Instead, we just watch a guy eat cheeseburgers for a good half hour. And I just think that makes a terrible viewing experience, personally. Now, let's get to my main problems with the show. Why do I think it fails at its very premise? Well, there are two sides to that, the physical and the mental. Let's talk about the physical first. So you have these personal trainers, and they want to know what it's like to be morbidly obese, or at the very least just regular obese themselves, to try and lose the weight together with their client. Gain some empathy. That's the point. However, there is still a huge difference between a guy who doesn't work out, and let's use a lot of weight. A guy who doesn't work out and gained 100 pounds in 4 months, and a guy who has been 300 pounds overweight for 10 years or more. In fitness, backslides or slumps or life gets in the way. Sometimes, you gain a lot of weight and you can't work out for a long period of time. And you do get a little fat. Now, these guys do get a little bit more than a little fat, but honestly not by much. And that makes sense because realistically, how much weight can you actually gain in 4 months, even if you're trying your hardest? But that doesn't even really matter too much because you will still have the muscle memory and training in your system that will have your body rebound back into position if you're only out there for 4 months. If it was a bit longer, like a year or so, maybe the body wouldn't rebound nearly as easily. But these personal trainers, they create these 4-month transformations rather easily because their body was fit for like 10 years and then they got fat for 4 months and then they got fit again. That your body will rebound really, really fast in those cases. Not to mention, again, they don't have to lose nearly as much weight as the morbidly obese person. On top of that, if you've been morbidly obese for 10 years, you're not going to have the muscle memory to be able to quickly drop weight and gain muscle back like these guys do. On top of that, if you've been morbidly obese for a long period of time, your joints are going to be all fucked up. You might have some back or foot or ankle injuries. Just general physical problems that come with being that size for so long that are just going to make it hard to work out in general. That's the physical. Let's talk about the mental, and I feel this is more important, and this is the main reason why I feel the show fails. So for these personal trainers, they've worked out their entire lives, and odds are it's probably what they like to do, and that's a big difference. To most people, working out isn't fun. It's work. The reason a lot of people are overweight or out of shape is because a lot of people work full-time jobs and then they get off their 8-hour shift and then it's like, now I gotta go drive to the gym and then I gotta go work for another hour before I can go home and finally rest. And then there are people like me who like to work out, who when they get off work go, now I get to work out. And that's a huge mental difference between I have to and I get to. So, these personal trainers, when that 4-month period ends, they're like, oh, thank God, finally, now I can do all the exercises that I've been wanting to do this whole time. But these morbidly obese people are like, yeah, they're definitely like, I'm looking forward to change my life around, but they're not like, yay, I get to exercise. They want the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. For people who like exercise, getting to do it is the fun part. The journey is the fun part. The goal is just the sprinkles on top. But for morbidly obese people, they don't enjoy this process. This isn't like a fun thing for them. On top of that, a lot of morbidly obese people suffer from food addiction. And a lot of times, this food addiction is caused by some sort of trauma in their past. Again, these are things that the personal trainers won't be able to relate to or understand or be able to empathize with because they don't have food addiction. So inevitably, because it's an addiction and also because food isn't illegal, there's gonna be a backslide. It happens a lot with morbidly obese people trying to lose weight. It's just a thing. You gotta kind of expect it. And inevitably, when there's a backslide, the personal trainer shows that there is no empathy there. The empathy that he gained from, gaining 60 to 100 pounds, it's fake. It's not real. And I say that because inevitably when there's a backslide, they just run through the same rhetorical questions trying to shame them. Why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you eating so much? You know it's bad for you. You know you'll die if you keep doing this, right? Very empathetic. So that's pretty much why I think the show is an absolute failure. Well, guys, let me know what you think of Fit to Fat to Fit, as well as my critiques of the show down in the comments below. I'm Patrick, and I'll see you next time.